This week on the Toni Thorne Show, Point Blank features Charlie Spice and the adult entertainment industry. Pompasat features Marian Bout, Tell It to Tony returns, and of course we have the popular topical Tea Time. The Charlie Spice Experience is the most exclusive lifestyle membership club in the Caribbean for adult entertainment. Thank you so much for joining me, sir. How are you?
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for having me on your show.
So, for those of us who do not know you, who is Charlie Spice?
That question begs for so many answers. I'm from Barbados originally, and at a very young age I went to the United States, and while I was in Los Angeles I happened to meet a very beautiful blonde lady who owned an agency, and at the time,
what kind of agency?
An escort agency.
Okay.
And at that time it was quite difficult. I mean, making ends meet, paying rent, and she offered me the opportunity to work for her agency as a male escort, and I took the opportunity and never looked back. It was a fantastic experience. I had the opportunity to generate the kind of monies that I would never have the opportunity to make if I had not been in the agency, and I got the chance to travel extensively as well at the expense of clients.
Okay, you said about generating money. So this kind of business would generate money like if you were a doctor, lawyer, or more than that?
Actually, if you are in the right circle, in the right market, you can generate a lot more money than doctors if you're operating at the highest level. I know of girls in this industry who charge as much as 1,000 US per hour, or in some cases for the first hour. And for a week, it can run up to 10,000 US dollars to have the company of some of these top class escorts. What
is the adult entertainment business?
Adult entertainment is just what it says, entertainment for adults, and it includes strip dancing, pole dancing, table dancing, lap dancing. There's also the role play sector of the industry where people have got all kinds of crazy fantasies, and women and men in the industry.
In the Caribbean?
In the Caribbean as well. I mean, there's some crazy requests from clients where they want the female escort or male escort to dress according to their fantasies. Some people want the girl to dress in diapers. As funny as it sounds.
All very interesting, Charlie, but are all of these things legal?
Prostitution is not legal across the Caribbean, but having said that, there's so many people operating in the adult entertainment sector where prostitution is their trade, and there is a very wide cross section of women and men operating as prostitutes across the region. There is the street level prostitution. You have individuals who operate from private apartments or private homes. Particularly here in Barbados, there's at least one establishment where you can go to use or hire the services of prostitutes. And the number of people operating as full-time, part-time, or opportunistic sex workers in Barbados and other Caribbean islands is a lot higher than people imagine.
What is an opportunistic sex worker?
The lady who works at a bank in the daytime, she's at and happens to meet a visitor, and because the price is right and the circumstances are right, she'll take the offer. That is the opportunistic sex worker. It's not a full-time job, but she will take the opportunity. So
what's the difference between part-time and the opportunistic? Not much?
Not a big difference, but the opportunistic sex worker is the one who's she's not against taking an offer from time to time. The one who does it part-time is because she's probably working a full-time job, and she she has a full-time, it's a full-time effort for her, sorry, part-time effort for her to supplement her income. We also have full-time sex workers in Barbados and other Caribbean islands, and these girls and guys are available 24/7 to anyone who's prepared to pay the price.
Are you for the legalization, decriminalization of prostitution in the Caribbean?
I am very happy you asked that question. I am strongly for the legalization or the decriminalization of sex work, because it will address enable authorities and people from the industry to properly address the problems that stem from the sex industry. Problems such as human trafficking for sex work, child prostitution, forced prostitution, HIV, AIDS, and other STI issues. So once it is legalized and or decriminalized, then we have a better handle on it. Because it is not legal in Barbados and other Caribbean islands, people work underground, and when it's underground, there's no control.
There are many people that contact me and say, oh, you should feature this, you should feature that, and there's one such lady in Guyana that deals with human trafficking and getting girls out of situations like what you're speaking about. How serious is human trafficking and its correlation to prostitution in Barbados and the Caribbean?
Fortunately, we in the Caribbean do not have such a major problem with trafficking.
Thank God.
When we hear about trafficking in places like Thailand and Korea and other countries where Brazil, you have incidents where women are duped into working as prostitutes, sex or other types of sex workers under one arrangement, and when they arrive in the Caribbean, the arrangement changes, or there are such high penalties placed on them by way of interest on what they've paid to get them here, what the bosses have paid, that it becomes very difficult for them to repay. And during that time, passports are withheld and so on, and that is illegal. It is not legal to withhold someone's passport. So that is the extent to which it happens in the Caribbean, and there are isolated cases. It is not a major issue.
Okay, and what about child prostitution?
Child prostitution is increasingly becoming more of an issue, and I'm very concerned about this. As the president of the Global Adult Industry Association, I'm particularly concerned about child prostitution, and a lot of it's not forced prostitution. We're looking at young girls where society has failed them, the educational system has failed them, and they feel they have no choice but to go out and prostitute themselves to help support
their family,
their brothers and their sisters, and to bring money. In some cases, the parents are aware that the children are prostituting themselves, and there is no complaint to the police because the mothers. It's a matter of. It's a socio-economic issue, and we tend to get blamed for this, but the sex industry is not responsible for that. This is a problem within society, and the men who are paying them are known to the families from the neighborhoods that they come from.
So how do you think that decriminalization or full legalization of prostitution, soliciting, can handle these things via regulation, put in certain regulatory procedures?
If I may say at this point, I do not think that the church or the state should be involved in what consenting adults do in private environments where sex is involved, whether it's commercial or non-commercial. Okay? The decriminalization or legalization of the sex industry will not address all the problems, but it will address many of them. I proposed to government authorities on a number of occasions in the past that I'm happy to sit with them and use my experience in the industry to look at the best way to address some of these social issues. But they have never once come back to me, because to come to me and sit down is an admission that there is sex in schools, there are schoolgirls prostituting themselves, and they don't want to admit that.
What's the general reaction to you? Because you're very outspoken, very opinionated, and you diplomatic sometimes.
Not all the time.
But what's the general reaction to you by the public?
I have seen the reaction to Charlie Spice change over the years, and it's becoming more and more positive because people now understand where I'm coming from. Before, people thought that I just wanted to legalize the industry so that I could better operate, but I've been operating successfully for many years. I don't need legalization. I don't need Barbados to operate. Only 10% of my business is Barbados related, you know. And also there's a point at which my views coincide nicely or positively with the views of society. For example, I don't want to see little girls in prostitution. I don't want to see women forced into prostitution. I don't want to see women contracting HIV and AIDS. So there is a level upon which I can partner with society based on my expertise. And I think perhaps, it may not happen in my lifetime, but they will partner with someone with my level of expertise at some point in time. Barbados is not only a promiscuous society, a hypocritical society, but
promiscuous?
Barbados is the most promiscuous society I have ever come across. This is a country where most men have got 2 or 3 outside women, God knows how many outside children. Oh, absolutely, Barbados is extremely promiscuous.
Thank you so much, Charlie, for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to speak with me. I know that there are many, many others who've approached you to sit down and chat on television and television programs, and you've declined. So I really want to thank you for trusting me and the team to have the authenticity and the integrity to be able to put what you want to say out there in a way that is to your standard and is fair to you. As I always say, because our viewership is very wide, I do not have to agree with everything that the person that sits down next to me on this show says, but I think that this show is about changing a certain level of national consciousness and highlighting obvious realities, and this is clearly an obvious reality.
Thank you very much for having me on your show. It's been a pleasure, and
Pleasure's all mine.
I welcome the opportunity to speak to you even in the future.
No problem. Thank you.
The Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union. This is where you belong. Over the years, we've cared for you to help you meet your needs. Trustworthy, dependable, so you can grow financially. The Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union. Excellent service, all values strong. Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union. This is where you belong.
Motion CPR Treatment Conditioner. Ideal for breakage-prone hair, this deep moisturizing treatment instantly strengthens and repairs the hair shaft. Motion CPR Treatment Conditioner will help to restore hair's health and vibrancy with one application. Deeply nourishes the hair with a blend of natural African herbs. For more fabulous product information, visit www.motionshair.com or Brighton Stokes. Talent to Tony is brought to you today by Sina. So Sina, is it a man's world or a woman's world?
Tony, I think it's a girl's world.
Yes!
We are 3 generations.
And we watch the Toni Thorne show!
Briar's flavor of the week is vanilla. It is creamy, delicious, and possibly the best ice cream you will ever have. Distributed by Brighton Stokes island-wide. Welcome back to the show. This last Saturday, I tried something called Merry Run Boat, and it was a blast, an absolute blast. And I want to thank all my friends for telling me about it. Here to join me on the show is Coach Carey, who is the founder and the coach of Merry Run Boat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tell me about yourself, firstly.
Okay, what would you like to know?
Who is Coach Carey?
I'm a coach. I'm a strength and conditioning specialist. I love exercise. I love physical activity, whatever it may be. I played sports throughout my youth. Was never any really fantastic player or anything like that, but
You love
I
it.
love it. I love
It's your passion.
Correct.
Talk to me about Merry Run Boat. What is Merry Run Boat?
Merry Run Boat is a community outreach program from the fitness angle. It is my way of going out there and giving persons some fun, safe activity for free as we travel around the island every Saturday morning at 7. It's always at 7 o'clock, weather permitting. We go out to different areas. We go to Dover Beach. Last week, Saturday with you, it was at Warren's. We've been to Folkestone Park, and we're building different locations as we go, but every Saturday different location to get out to the community.
Now, you said it's free.
Yes.
Not many people do things for free.
This is true.
Why do you do it?
Well, one, my mother. My mother has always said to give back.
Yeah.
You know, none of us get to where we are by ourselves, right? There's always someone lending us a helping hand or 2 or 10. So you're always supposed to give back. So this is my way of giving back, you know, whether it be time, money, sharing your corn curls or whatever, you know, you always share. So this is my way of giving back.
Now this exercise regime, as I like to refer to it as, is like none other. I said this to you when we were doing it. Yeah. Will you ever get to a stage where you're going to monetize it?
The runboat, I don't think so. The runboat is part of the Merry Group Fitness experience. The Merry Group Fitness experience is like, you know, other programs where you pay to take part. But the runboat section, no. I would love some sponsorship.
Hear that?
Right? But no, that's, like I said, it's a free community outreach program, and I want to get out there and just, you know, give people free access.
Where does the name Merry come from?
Right. So, Merry, MERI, stands for Meltdown Extreme Rush Interactive.
Okay.
This whole thing started with the Meltdown. Okay, it began as the Meltdown 8 years ago, and it was all about fat loss at that point, right? The Meltdown. I found that turned away guys, and I found that it didn't really speak to what I intended the program to be.
Okay.
So I changed it to Meltdown Extreme Rush Interactive, Merry. Meltdown still has a fat loss aspect in it, but Extreme Rush, how you felt during
man,
that excitement, that exhilaration, and then interactive because you get to speak to me one-on-one. We have a WhatsApp chat, we have the Facebook, we have the Instagram, we have it all, and most people have my number, so they can literally call me up, text me, what have you. So it's always interactive with the coach and with each other, all the participants.
I had a blast.
You're welcome. Really, I'm happy to hear that.
It was really good. What kind of person does Merry Runboat? Is there a particular type of...
people who are not afraid to have fun, right? Are not afraid to go out there and push themselves, right? If you are, and no disrespect to any aerobics people out there, but if you are stuck in that, okay, I must go grapevine, I must go Zumba, I must go do that, and it has to be a set thing, then this is not for you. If you're somebody who's going to come out there and not know what's going to happen on any given day, because we don't tell you, right? I don't tell you what's coming. You're going to come in, you're going to look at it, and you go, oh, this is what we're doing? Okay, cool, let's go.
Spontaneity.
That's spontaneity. If you're that kind of person, then for sure. If you can run a boat, and you can crawl, and
be merry.
And be merry, right? Then that's for you. What
fitness levels are needed?
From beginner on.
Okay.
From beginner on, as your experience.
Yes.
You don't need...
Hot mess on, you mean?
You don't need any experience. You come in and we'll take care of you. You wouldn't have seen this yesterday, but in the usual Merry classes, I show you the exercises at the beginning. And if you're new, we introduce you like we did with you.
Yes.
You know, people know you, but we still introduce you as a new person coming into the group. And then we take you from there. So if you don't know how to squat, we show you the squat. If you have push-ups and crawls that day, we show you to do a push-up and a crawl. And it goes from there. So from beginner on.
I love it. Where do you see this in the next 5 years?
Oh boy, where do you want to see it?
Yes.
Where do I want to see Merry in the next 5 years? Franchise across the Caribbean, having a run boat in as many Caribbean countries as possible, because as you would imagine, as you may know, the chronic non-communicable diseases are just in Barbados.
Yeah.
They're right through, so I'd like to see it spread through the Caribbean.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And
thanks for having me.
How do people get in contact with you?
Well, the easiest thing is to go on our website, right? And you can go through merryfatloss.com, or you can go through cutrockbodies.com. Cut rock like the limestone.
Yes.
Like cutrockbodies.com.
Especially since crop over is coming around, you want to have a cut rock body.
Exactly.
Can you get a cut rock body from just doing run boat alone?
Run boat alone, no, because that's only 1 day a week.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's only 1 day a week. The American College of Sports Medicine recommends the majority of your week should be spent on exercise, right? So you want to be exercising at least 4 days a week.
It's always a pleasure speaking to people that their passion is exuded in everything that they do, and I really like the fact that you also do this for free, because I know that it's genuine. And I really want to thank you for allowing my hot mess self to come to my run boat, and for coming on the show to be able to give this experience to all of the persons that will be watching this. And I want to ask God to truly bless you, Coach Carey. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, and you're welcome.
Thanks. We'll be right back. Tea time is up next.
People all over are savoring the aromatic goodness of the country's favorite tea. Lipton is your brighter day in every cup. Enjoy the rich, uplifting taste and aroma. Perfect anytime, any place. Lipton Yellow Label. Get the feeling anytime, anywhere. And try our new green tea with superfruit.
Welcome to the Lipton sponsored Tea Time segment, and I was joined by 4 wonderful persons to discuss the millennial woman, what do men expect from her, and whether or not it's a man's world or a woman's world. So take a look. To my left, we have West Indies cricketer Mr. Tino Best. Thank you so much.
Pleasure to be here.
We also have Miss Rhea Corbin, medical doctor, cultural enthusiast, and now regular to the show. Rhea, thanks so much for joining.
As always.
And then Caribbean photographer Miss Reese Chatterton. Reese, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And a law student, entrepreneur, and brother from another mother, Mr. Rene Ford.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's delve right into it. Is it a man's or a woman's world? Tina, I'll let you start.
My opinion is, I think that the woman of today is very independent. Time goes the days of the man working hard and the woman staying home. Women are more educated, they are more enthusiastic to pursue their goals, and it's just it's a level playing field right now.
So it's both.
Yes,
say
most
both.
definitely.
Rhea.
I say it's a woman's world, or at least it's slightly closer to becoming a woman's world than a man's world, because based on what's happening now, the women are creeping up there. It may not be noted, but we're creeping up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reese.
I would say that internationally is a very different situation from what it's like in the Caribbean. In the Caribbean, we have a very matriarchal society where women are the heads of many households, but globally I think that women still have many obstacles to overcome. And in the Caribbean we kind of have a little bit of a blend of those things, where women have a lot of power and yet there are still international blockages that we encounter even within our own Caribbean society. We have lots of women who are heads of state. We don't have the same issues with women being prevented from holding certain positions in the Caribbean. But at the same time, because we are in a global environment, the sexism that is a global problem does still creep into our Caribbean society.
Rennie.
Yeah, it's basically what she's saying. That individually, I think women have progressed way further than men have, but it's just we have institutions and a status quo that has to be maintained, or it's still being maintained, that women are trying to break into. But individually, women have gone miles beyond men, especially here in the Caribbean.
So for you, it's a woman's world.
Yeah.
Woman's world.
A woman's world with caveats, I would say.
Woman's world. Tina.
Level.
What do men really expect from the modern day millennial woman? I know that you said that we are a lot more enthusiastic now. What as a man, what do you expect from the modern day woman?
Like my experience is that when I date women, I always date a woman who is ambitious, who's going to tell me when I'm going wrong, who's not going to be intimidated by me and my success. That is the millennium woman right there for you.
I think it's twofold. I think those men who are still stuck in the beliefs of many years gone by would find it hard, as Tino said, to swallow the woman who is strong and who can make her own decisions and who is making the same money as them, has the same qualifications as them or more. That would be hard for them. But those who are more current in their thoughts and their beliefs and their understanding would be able to better handle a lady who can be on par with them.
I think what millennial men want from the millennial woman is someone who is more on an equal plane. We want someone who is pretty much the female version of us, we want someone who can have fun with, do male stuff with, they've got plenty of guys who like to play video games. They want girls that could do that or pursue other pursuits.
As Reese said, that thing about you don't want support, I myself and I doing what I gotta do, that's not how relationship goes. That's not how a woman can respect you and look at you as her champion. So It's just simple things that you got to accept, and still simple things that you got to move forward as a couple. But it comes down to the way you was raised.
I actually want to add on to what Tino said, I want to pick out a word. He said a champion. And I do think that millennial women want their man to be their champion. He should be your champion. And just like he should be your champion, you should always be his most staunch defender. Absolutely. Because
Ride or die.
Right, you're ride or die.
What boundary do you set up when it comes to involvement of friends in your relationship?
Your friends are here and your relationship is here. And you can have your friends, and that's all well and good, but your friends should not be in your relationship. If someone is having financial difficulties at the time that we get together, but they're working towards something, because people have various reasons for not having money, not getting paid, being a freelancer, working for government. You know, people have difficulties. So it's not as if you can, as long as you're working towards something, and I can see that we're working towards something together, that's okay. Yeah. But don't tell me that your job is hanging out at your mother's house and you're 35 and you've been doing that for the last 5 years, because you know, I love my mother too, but you know.
Fellows that say, oh, she only like that guy because he's a cricketer, you know, or this guy only like this girl because she comes from a good background, or whatever the case for me. But it comes down to this: if both of y'all grew up in a tough neighborhood, right, and y'all went school, study hard, she went to school and study hard, she won't get out the hood. You understand? You cool in the hood. It's only a matter of time before she realizes, see, you're ambitious. I love you and thing, right? But I really stand both ways though.
When I reach the road, you and your knee can't do nothing, boy.
I ain't rolling with you because you are ambitious enough.
Yes. Why is it hard for a millennial woman to find a champion in Barbados?
Well, yes.
Sorry.
That's one of the issues, right? But it's a problem with all the males in our society. I don't know, it's a lack of ambition. You hear it everywhere. There are women coming up, and that's a good thing. Yes. That women are coming up, but the men aren't pulling the weight. They aren't doing anything. You know, every year you're seeing how many female doctors, how many lawyers coming up, and it's like, where are the men? Where are they working? So women, if they're looking for a champion, it's very hard to find. So.
Well, I think we have a hard time recognizing champions when we butt into them as well. I think that we often are, he's got to be this, he's got this tall, and his body has to look like this, and he got to have this job, and blah, blah, and we don't, and the heights and the terraces, and we don't recognize when we meet good people who are just good people.
Yes.
It was an absolute pleasure having each of you come and discuss this topic with me, and I really want to ask you not to be strangers to this show, and I really appreciated all of your views. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
God bless you. Just wait me when you were talking. Can't keep up with one of young people. I just got my last scene. If you see I online, I online. So there was a survey that said that men that do more housework get less sex.
Get less sex. Yeah.
The men who do surveys get less sex.
Yeah.
Please don't beg you.
I can move you.
Bye.
So watch this.
You cannot speak with the cup up to your mouth.
Mommy,